I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum. We're in downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there. He's producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope to God you didn't listen to Big Ben Bennett yesterday, because I tried to lead him down our American Athletic Conference path. I told him what was good for us. I told him what was good for the University of Memphis. I told him what was good for the American Athletic Conference, and he didn't even consider that I might know what I'm talking about. Final score down in Tampa, Florida. USF a whole bunch. Boise State barely any at all. It's an upset. Big Bet Bennett, you're going to laugh when I tell you what your record is, where you're sitting at in your career of making bets on the Gary Parrish Show at Grind City Media. We got a lot to talk about. We'll get to it momentarily. First, so quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, Chris Vanini is going to join me. He, of course, covers college football, has been at the forefront of, among other things, conference realignment. So, yeah, we're going to talk to him about what happened in college football last night, what he expects to happen in college football over the coming days. I'll ask him about Memphis and these reports that the Big Ten could expand, and maybe there's a trickle-down effect that impacts the ACC, and perhaps the Tigers could get that call. Chris Vanini is going to join me. He'll be here in the next segment. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back. 5 more things you need to know, at which point we'll discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them the Cowboys. They really did it. They really did it. They traded Micah Parsons to the Packers for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round draft picks. Wild development. We'll get to it in about 40 minutes. Tennessee has signed men's basketball coach Rick Barnes to what's being described as a lifetime contract. So the renewal of the Memphis-Tennessee series might have to wait a bit longer than any of us would hope. We'll talk UT basketball a little later on in the show. Doris Burke officially out as the lead analyst on ESPN's #1 NBA broadcast team. She's going to be replaced by Tim Legler. I'll tell you more about that in just a bit. Kyle Schwarber went wild last night, delivered only the 21st ever 4-home run game in Major League Baseball history. We'll celebrate the Philly star. We'll do that in the second hour. And hundreds of runners gathered in Central Gardens this morning to finish Liza's run. It was a sweet scene here in Memphis, obviously connected to just an awful story. We'll spend a little time on that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a bunch to get to. I want to start with college football. A big Labor Day weekend full of games on tap. But before we look ahead, we should probably look back because last night was a big night for the American Athletic Conference. Unranked USF 34, 25th ranked Boise State 7. Everybody's favorite to not only win the Mountain West, but to also finish as the 5th highest ranked conference champion and thus make the 12-team college football playoff. They lost last night, season opener, by 27 points. Big Bet Bennett, I tried to get you to support USF. It's one of only 3 founding members of the American Athletic Conference that remains in the American Athletic Conference alongside Memphis and Temple. USF, they've stuck with us through thick and thin. More accurately, they've been stuck with us through thick and thin. They're our brothers either way, and you betrayed them to your own detriment. Speak for yourself.
Have they stuck with us? I mean,
they're stuck with us.
I think they would leave us as soon as they possibly could. But I think they're actually trying to do that.
In fairness, though, we would leave them just as soon as we could, too.
That's exactly right, yes.
But for now, we're brothers, all right? Either one of us.
We are brothers.
Either one of us would divorce in a second if we could. Either one of us is ready to abandon the other in a heartbeat. But for now, and for a while now, we've been brothers.
And let me make it clear. If there is one team in the American Athletic Conference that I would want to hitch my wagon to and be brothers with and go on a new journey like somewhere else with, it would be USF. Don't get it twisted.
You have love in your heart somewhere.
Yeah, because, well, first off, they've been in a power conference before. Like, they've operated at a high level before. And, like, dude, they're spending more money on football than any other team in the AAC
they
right now.
They were ranked number 2 in the country in college football at one point in time.
Yes.
Shouts to Jim Leavitt, who was arrested earlier this week for some awful stuff. But like prior to that, he ran a pretty good football program once upon a time.
Yeah, and so like they care about athletics there, it appears. They're projected to win the basketball league as well.
We'll see about that.
I believe that the preseason projections have,
certainly at BartTorving.com. I was just playing around. But at BartTorving.com, they are the favorite.
Yeah, so again, they care about athletics, and I want to be in a league with teams that care about athletics. USF clearly does that. And I was just, man.
Then explain to me. I'm listening. I'm hearing what you said. Explain to me why you wouldn't support them when given an opportunity on the first Thursday night of the college football season. Explain that part.
I did not do my proper research.
Before
making that pick last night. I did not realize that they were bringing back a quarterback who got injured last season in Byron Brown that was actually really awesome when he was healthy.
You didn't respect Byron Brown. That's a mistake better men than you have made.
And I kind of look ahead to that game that they play against Memphis later this season. And dude, he didn't play Memphis last season because he was hurt 2 seasons ago. Bro, he had one of the best games I think a quarterback's probably like ever had against the Tigers. He had like over 400 all-purpose yards, 5 touchdowns. They lost, but it was a good game.
All I heard was they lost.
Yeah, they lost. But
congrats on your stats and a loss. We'll take the win and move on.
I'm just saying. I think his game was played in the 50s. Like, I'm just saying.
You think we can still score in the 50s?
God, I hope so, because you might have to in that game. Who knows?
Might have to.
Put up 34 on Boise State.
They kicked their ass.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of them.
How good is Ashton Genty, by the way?
I mean, I guess he's really good. He is, but that Boise team was really good last year. In their own, like, I don't think just one amazing running back is the reason that they went to the college football plailff last year.
Maybe it could be. Cam Newton is the one reason Auburn won a national championship.
That's an anomaly.
You can do stuff like that with one dude.
That's true. I do think, and I've seen people suggest that, like, well, this doesn't mean it's the end for Boise State. Like, they could still win their league and have a good strength schedule. Dude, that was the end for them. They lost 34-7.
They lost 34-7
to an unranked team.
An unranked team from the American Athletic Conference.
They are done. They ain't getting in the CFB.
Well, I don't want to speak in absolutes. It's August 29th. Bennett says he will speak in absolutes.
Now that belongs to our league. Now we've stolen that bid.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons to think you have greatly increased the likelihood of you, quote, stealing that bid. Because, as you know, in the 12-team college football playoff, there are 5 auto bids. And it is to the 5 highest-ranked conference champions. Now, that is always going to be, in some order, the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the ACC, at least until we get more conference realignment, and we'll deal with that when we get there. But 4 of those spots are always going to go, in its current format, to the SEC champion, to the Big 12 champion, to the Big 10 champion, and to the ACC champion. And then there is another spot, and this is the best part of the college football playoff, I think, is it actually gives a path to the bracket to somebody who otherwise would never have a path to a national championship. Do I think a team from outside of the Power Four will ever win a national championship in college football? You ready for this? No, I do not think it will ever happen.
No, the talent discrepancy.
It'll show up eventually.
Yes.
You know, like St. Peter's can upset somebody in the round of 64 and upset somebody in basketball round of 32. Eventually, you run into somebody that's just going to overwhelm you and you lose by 30. Mm-hmm. That's the way those stories typically end. We've had in basketball, you know, the VCUs, the George Masons, the Loyola Chicagos, the Butlers make Final Fours. But, buddy, the thing about a Final Four that sometimes gets lost is once you get there, as a, quote, Cinderella, you probably got to beat two teams to win a national championship, and both of them are way better than you. And that eventually is what happens, whether you're a Boise State or a USF or a Memphis or anybody from outside of the Power Four. Eventually, you run into a monster that's going to eliminate you probably by a pretty dramatic margin. But you still get to be in the bracket. You still get to be a part of it. Butler fans in basketball will celebrate those back-to-back runs under Brad Stevens forever. They didn't result in the national championship. You know, they got beat in both title games. But my God, what a journey it was. How awesome. And there's now a real path for schools like Boise State, USF, Memphis to take a journey on that path and at least be a part of the conversation. And that's fun. You hear people talk about life all the time. It's not always about where you're going as much as like the journey along the way. Yeah, Memphis probably, if it ever gets into a college football playoff, probably gets beat by 2-3 touchdowns in the first round. That's the way the stuff will probably go.
But I'll wear the T-shirt.
But we'll have the T-shirt. We'll have the experience. We'll have the journey along the way. We'll get to turn on television shows every week of the season, watch the college football playoff rankings be unveiled, hear people debate the merits of Memphis against others. It can be fun. And based on what happened last night, we're closer to that than we otherwise would be. Boise State, entering this season, is the highest-ranked non-Power 4 school in college football as it pertains to the AP poll. They were 25th. They're going to lose that number just as soon as the rankings update, but heading into the season, they were 25th. There are only 5 schools outside of the Power 4 ranked ahead of Memphis in the preseason AP poll. It is Boise State, Tulane from the American, UNLV, Toledo, and James Madison. After that, you get to Memphis. One of those teams just lost, Boise State. The best of those teams in the rankings just lost. That's Boise State. And they lost to a team that is in your league, that is below you in the AP poll, and it's a team you get to play. That stuff's in your own hands.
At home, yep.
Right. So Boise State, even if it goes and wins the rest of its games, which didn't look like that's a likely scenario based on what we saw last night. But I did see college football people, and I'll ask Chris Vanini about this, tweeting last night, I still think Boise State wins the Mountain West. Okay, let them. But if Memphis can win the American, it would include a victory in theory. Let's just go undefeated for the fun of it, right? At least in the conference. Let's go undefeated for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Then you got to win over USF. That's a USF team that beat Boise State 34-7. And you're the conference champion. You're the conference champion of a comparable league with a victory over the team that beat the Mountain West conference champion. That's easy. Let's do it.
Okay.
I say let's do it. Do you have other plans? I say let's do it.
I mean, I look at our schedule, and I do get a little more nervous.
I'm not nervous.
Well, I mean, like even last night, like East Carolina almost came back and beat NC State. You got to go on the road and play them.
Not worried about East Carolina.
I'm just
I've
saying.
spent my whole life not being worried about East Carolina. I'm not going to start now.
There could be some
not
bumps
start being
in the
scared
road.
of Pirates
Well, they
now.
sold all their season tickets. There could be some bumps in the road.
In fairness, they don't have a big hole in their stadium.
That's absolutely true.
Okay.
I
don't like you comparing our program to a program that doesn't have a big hole in the stadium.
That's fair.
That doesn't seem fair.
Okay. Yeah, I just let's get through the mocks. Let's get through the mocks tomorrow.
I've already counted that chicken before it's hatched.
Let's get through the mocks tomorrow.
Sometimes I like to count chickens
and then we
before
gotta
they
play.
hatch.
Okay, here's one thing that I do not like about this schedule, and I told you this. I guess we were talking about it last week. I really don't like those 2 road games against Troy and Georgia State.
Not worried about Troy and Georgia State.
I don't like that. I hope that Memphis can get away from playing games like that. Like they don't have to play those games.
You feel like that's beneath you.
Yes, and kind of scary because if you lose one of those games, it wrecks your whole season. I mean, it just does.
It can be wreckable.
Yeah, and so, or at least it wrecks like the aspirations that you have. And I think Memphis is kind of at a point that they don't have to play a game on the road at Troy.
Seems like something you should have brought up with Dr. Scott last week.
I'm just saying, and I know these things are scheduled well in advance. I'm saying when we're playing in the schedule for the future, I don't think you got to play those games.
I'm not interested in playing games like that unless they are guaranteed 4 touchdown victories.
Yes.
Anything short of that, like I'd rather just if I'm at risk of taking a loss, I'd rather be at risk of taking a loss to a school that my fans recognize.
Yeah, just because like either of those teams could mess around and get in a tight game with you. They could. I mean, they've won games they weren't supposed to win before. So
if you're on your way to the college football playoff, you can't be concerned with little things like that.
Okay.
I'm not concerned with little things like that. Only 5 teams ahead of Memphis in the AP poll from outside of the Power 4 when we started this season. After last night, there's only 4 because Boise State should drop. They got pounded. And then we got a little later kickoff because that one started in the middle afternoon for some reason. And the big game that got all the attention, the late night one, 8 o'clock kick, that was Nebraska and Cincinnati at Arrowhead with Travis and Taylor in attendance. How about that? Yeah. Travis and Taylor.
I was a little jealous. Remember, those were our peers once upon a time.
I thought about this
Cincinnati, yeah. I mean, there was a time. I was jealous.
There was a time. USF's our brother now.
Yes, they're our brothers. Yeah, and gladly. I'm glad to be brothers. Like, yeah, that's cool.
But like, there was a time where USF was our brother and Cincinnati was our brother, and then it feels like
they weren't really our brother. We kind of hated them.
I know, but like,
I get what you're saying.
Perhaps rooted out of jealousy.
Yeah.
All right. But they were our brother. They were siblings. They lived in our house.
Yes.
You know, they had a home with us.
Yeah.
And it feels like they just left us. They just got a little too good for the family, and they took off. And think about, we just tried to give $200 million to try to get into the league that just wanted them anyway. All right. And now they get to play on national television on opening nights, Thursday nights, and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are there, and we got a hole in our stadium.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of interesting that the Big 12 wanted all those teams that can't win football games. That's a different conversation for a different day. But
it could be a different conversation for a different day.
Yeah. I mean, UCF almost lost to Jacksonville State last night.
There is a different world. There's a whole nother world out there, Bennett, an alternative reality where the Big 12 takes Memphis, Taylor Swift starts dating Anthony Miller, and it could have been us.
Man. Yeah.
It could have been us.
One can dream.
You didn't even think about it like that, did you?
I did not.
There's another whole world out there where the Big 12 takes the University of Memphis, Taylor Swift starts dating Anthony Miller, and that could have been us. Instead, we were stuck here watching it on TV. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. We're going to catch a break eventually.
I think we will. I think we will.
You know what? I'm going to ask Chris Vanini. He would know.
Yes, he would know.
He would know. I'm going to ask Chris Vanini if we're going to catch a break eventually. He'll join me next.
Okay.
The NBA announced their Dunk of the Year yesterday. It was voted on by the fans, and it went to Ja Morant for his double clutch through Porzingis and Derek White. The call of it was excellent. That game we hung on to for a long time last season, but it was a spectacular dunk.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hart, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush, and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Show presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Bill Ford Tough studio, and Chris Vanini covers college football for The Athletic. He's on X at Chris Vanini, and he joins me now. Chris, it's GP. How you doing on this Friday morning?
Good to be here. I'm driving down to Waco later today to go to Baylor Auburn. Week 1 college football is loaded. I'm fired up, man.
I'm fired up, too. I'm not driving to Waco this weekend, but I do plan to be at Simmons Bank here in Memphis for the University of Memphis Tigers against Chattanooga. I'll ask you about Memphis in a bit. Let's start with what happened last night. And I guess the big headline is Boise State went down to Tampa, played USF, and got beat pretty badly. Final score 34-7. Was Ashton Jeanty the best college football player in history, or is it more complicated than that?
I mean, apparently, but Ashton Jeanty didn't play defense either. Yeah. So I think Boise did almost nothing right in that game. It was stunning because that is an offensive line that brought back 4 starters. And so I like the 2 running backs that they had, and I figured, they're not going to put up Ashton Jeanty numbers, but they'll be able to run the ball, and they'll set everything up they want to do for the offense. Couldn't run the ball. Maddox Madsen played terrible, and when he made some good throws, they were dropped. They couldn't get any explosive plays. The defense gave up explosive plays. They had a bunch of red zone turnovers. You allow a fake punt. Just every single thing that could have gone wrong for Boise went wrong. I don't think they're as bad as they were last night. About around halftime or into the third quarter, I was thinking I don't even think USF is playing all that well. I think Boise has just been terrible. But then in the second half, USF started playing very well and ran away with it. And, they may have a pretty good team after all. They may have the team they kind of been building for a few years. But Boise, that was the worst performance we've seen from them in a very long time.
So it's obviously very early. Most teams haven't even played yet. But part of getting excited about college football is pulling from things wherever you can pull. And last night was just in that stadium a good night for the American Athletic Conference. Boise State was the team projected by most to be the non-Power 4 school that gets into the 12-team college football playoff. That takes a big hit last night. How big was it for the American, which has taken a beating all offseason, all summer? They released a mascot that got knocked around pretty good. Memphis very publicly was offering hundreds of millions of dollars to try to get out of the league. But last night was a good night, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this league is still a very good league, and we knew that. And of all the conferences that could have a team make the playoff this year, the American has been viewed as the one with the most options. Tulane, USF, Memphis, UTSA, if they it's a deep league, and we know that. And so for USF, which isn't the preseason favorite coming in either, to destroy the clear Mountain West favorite Boise State, who still might be the Mountain West favorite because UNLV didn't look very good. Fresno didn't look very good. I think Boise may still be the favorite in the Mountain West. So I think it's going to be a down year for that league, and perhaps it ends up being an up year for the American.
On the subject of the American, I mentioned, I guess it was last month, Memphis reportedly had put an offer on the table in excess of $200 million. It includes sponsorships and other things to try to gain admission to the Big 12. The Big 12 said thanks, but no thanks. Earlier this week, the Maryland athletic director publicly said he thinks the Big Ten will expand, add at least 2 more schools by 2030. Brett McMurphy then jumped on social media and said he believes the most obvious targets are North Carolina and Virginia. Is that the next big move in conference realignment? Big Ten or SEC taking the top of the ACC, whatever that looks like?
It's the Big Ten because their rights come up sooner than the next SEC deal. But nothing from that Maryland AD was new or even, I think, newsworthy. He's been on the job for 3 months. He's never been in college sports. He's not the authority on what's going to happen in conference realignment, I don't think. And everybody knows, yes, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, Clemson, Miami-ish, like those are the teams that will garner the most interest. Notre Dame, yes, but Notre Dame's not going to change. That's not going to be anything. So, like, I didn't think it was notable. Nothing's new. We know, like North Carolina, we know they are the most, other than Notre Dame, North Carolina is the most interesting realignment prospect out there. Everybody would want them. And North Carolina knows that, which is why they were happy to let Florida State and Clemson fight the legal fight and take all the arrows, while North Carolina got to sit back and ultimately got what they wanted with the way the ACC changed its exit fees in 5 or so years. So, yeah, I think, what the Big Ten does next is the most interesting thing, but nobody knows. Nobody in the Big Ten knows what that's going to be because we don't know what the TV world is going to look like in 5 years. It is changing so quickly. And as we saw with the Big 12 in Memphis, there just may not be that many spots left in these conferences because at some point you get so big that there isn't room to grow the pie for everybody. And I think that's part of what the Big 12 was looking at. I think another thing, if you're the Big Ten, you're going to be looking at is unequal revenue sharing, such as what the ACC did. If you're Ohio State, you should be making a lot more Big Ten money than Purdue does. Maybe that's a way to get yourself a bigger slice of the pie without having to add any other schools. So it's still too early to have any idea what's going to happen, let alone from an AD who's only been there for 3 months.
So you just put that in a interesting way that it popped something in my head that I've thought of before. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. We hear about conferences expanding all the time, realignment all the time. But as you note, Ohio State and Purdue have 2 very different values attached to them as members of the Big Ten. Do you think we'll ever get to a point where the Big Ten, the SEC, says everybody is always talking about expanding? The way to really make the pie bigger, the pieces of it, is to get rid of some of the bottom members of our league. Could you see the SEC kicking out a Mississippi State or the Big Ten kicking out a Purdue? Will we ever go to that route?
I don't think you're going to kick them out because that's kind of a long and public process. I don't think anybody would exactly want to do. But another way to kind of get around it is just to take more of their money. Yeah. And that's what kind of what the ACC is doing. You do it based on TV and based on winning and all that stuff. And guess what? The teams that are on the biggest games, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, they're going to get more television exposure. Therefore, they'll get more money just by being who they are without even having to do anything. So I think, the Big 12 was doing this 20 years ago. Texas and Oklahoma were getting more money just based on who was on national television. When you have conferences that have such gaps within them, you don't want maybe the bad publicity of kicking out a school and leaving it off to the curb, but there's other ways around trying to get more money out of them. It's what the ACC did, and I would not be surprised if the Big Ten and the SEC eventually get there because all these schools are looking for money from somewhere, and if Purdue or Mississippi State is unhappy about getting less, what are they going to do? Leave?
Right.
Like that's ultimately what that's what the situation is.
Circling back to North Carolina, I think on Monday night, Labor Day, a lot of people will, have their holiday and then settle in front of a television, and that's going to be on ESPN, TCU, North Carolina, 7 o'clock in Chapel Hill. It obviously launches the Bill Belichick era. That has created one headline after another since he was hired. How do you think that ends up? If we're talking again in 3 years, what does North Carolina football look like under Bill Belichick? Is he even there still?
Man, I have no idea. So his contract is only 3 years guaranteed, which is abnormally short. The buyout has also dropped. It's easy for him to leave for an NFL job if an NFL team comes calling. No NFL teams had come calling. That's why he's at North Carolina. So this team, I think it's going to be fine. Like, I look on paper and I see a 7-5, 8-4 team. And if they surprise and they win 10 games or something like that, maybe those NFL teams do come calling. If it's 4-8, I have no idea. I think the football acumen is going to be fine. They've been like recruiting okay. Like, it's not like been terrible or great or anything. So it's, people thought he was going to leave before the season started, which was always ridiculous. Like, Bill Belichick would never do that. Again, nobody's calling him. So it really just depends kind of how this season goes. And I think the schedule's pretty good. I like the quarterback they got, Gio Lopez. So, like, we'll see on Monday, but it's going to be an incredible amount of attention. And I think it'll be good for North Carolina to finally be talking about football and not Jordan Hudson and all that stuff. That's really been the biggest PR miss of all of this, is that Bill Belichick doesn't talk to the media pretty much ever there, and doesn't make the players available much at all. So there's nothing else to talk about with North Carolina football other than what Jordan Hudson's doing. So now that we have actual football, I think that will kind of fade into the background.
So the big game of the weekend, that is tomorrow. It'll be on Fox. It's number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State. On one side, the reigning national champs. The other side, the number 1 team in the country, led by the Heisman Trophy favorite, who happens to be named Manning. I don't know that we have a database of the greatest or biggest college football opening games in history, but do you have a sense for how big this is and where it might fall on a list like that? It feels pretty massive.
Yeah, week 1, I'm not sure, because like we had Texas, Ohio State 1 versus 2 in 2006, but I think that was like week 2 or 3. So like it's obviously right up there, 1 and 3. I don't have either of these teams in my top 2, but I think the biggest thing is both of these teams, what they are on Saturday is going to be very different than what they are by the end of the season. So I don't think we need to overreact no matter what the result is here, because you have a Texas team that's got a lot of new players on the offensive line and some guys on defense. It's replacing quite a bit. Ohio State's replacing almost everything. New coordinators, new quarterback, new offensive line, defensive line. So like if Ohio State just doesn't look good, it doesn't mean they're not going to be good this season. They're going to figure it out. I think you compare that to LSU Clemson. Well, these are veteran teams that bring a lot back, especially Clemson. I think Clemson is closer to its ceiling right now than Texas or Ohio State is going to be. So I'm like more interested in what Clemson looks like, because I think that we'll get a better sense of what they are. College football, like, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois last year and also beat Georgia. So like, teams evolve throughout the season. And so this is going to be really fun. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I think the thing I'm least concerned about or worried about is Arch Manning. Like, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be pretty good. I think the offensive line in front of him is 4 new starters. What does that look like? He's probably going to have to use his legs a lot and run around and make some plays, but he's been in the program for 3 years. He's got the same OC. There's a comfortability there. He's been in games at Texas A&M, against Georgia, Cotton Bowl, not for a ton of snaps or anything, but like it's not like he's never been in a situation like that before. So he's the least interesting thing to me, because there's so many other questions around both of these teams.
Last thing before I get you out of here, wrapping up with Chris Vanini from The Athletic. The University of Memphis will open tomorrow against Chattanooga. Down here, we're trying to get excited because, like, what else are you going to do? In the preseason AP poll, there were 5 teams from outside of the Power 4 ranked ahead of Memphis. One of them was Boise State. The Broncos lost last night. We'd like to think that Memphis can compete for a conference championship and, by extension, compete for a spot in the college football playoff. But it's a whole new roster. We don't really know. Do you know? Do you have a sense for how good Memphis might be?
No, and I've talked to Ryan Silverfield about this, and he's like, I like the guys we got. We got to see it in a game. And I've talked to a lot of coaches this offseason who have said the same thing, where they're like, I feel pretty good about our guys. You just never know what's going to happen the first time the bullets are flying out there, and it'll take some time for a lot of this. Brendan Lewis, I like the addition. I think his legs at quarterback bring something that this offense hasn't had for a bit. How's it going to? But it's a new system, so like we don't know, and be excited because it's college football, and you only get a handful of these, especially at home, every season. And as soon as we get to December and you don't have that anymore, you're going to wish we had college football. So get out to any stadium you're nearby and go check out a college football game. My colleague David Ubman's going to 6 games this weekend. I'm going down to Waco today. It's college football, man. You got to love it. I think Memphis has a good team. I think the American's pretty wide open, and I think Memphis has as good a shot as anybody else. And it's good that you're opening with a Chattanooga so you can take some time to figure out that new roster.
That is Chris Vanini from The Athletic. Make sure you're reading him and you're subscribed at The Athletic. And, of course, he's on X at Chris Vanini. That's at Chris Vanini. You're the best, man. I always appreciate your work, appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. We'll catch up down the road.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye-bye. That's Chris Vanini from The Athletic. Interesting comments on Texas and Ohio State. He doesn't have either, he said, in his top 2. Even though they are the top 2 in the coaches poll and 2 of the top 3 in the AP poll. And I liked what he said about Arch Manning. You know what he said? I think he'll be pretty good. If it's just pretty good, it's going to be disappointing.
Yes, just because of the hype. Yes.
He is set up for different reasons on some level, but he is set up in a similar way that Cooper Flagg was set up entering what ended up being his only season at Duke. I know Arch has been at Texas for a couple of years now. This is his 3rd year in the program, but this is his first year as the guy.
Yep.
And he's not only the guy, he's the guy with Manning on his back with a 1 next to his team name as the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. If he's not, if we get to November and he's not the starting quarterback for the number 1 team in the country and still the Heisman favorite, he has disappointed. And that's an incredible bar to set.
It really is. I mean, I don't as far as what it means for his pro, I don't think that matters. I think he will be on an NFL roster no matter what happens in college.
Well,
just because, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is a huge bar to set. I can't remember when the expectations have been so high for a quarterback. People are expecting him to be the clear favorite all season to win the Heisman.
Yeah. Like that, you start in pole position and you better hold on to it.
Yeah,
you're the quarterback. This is pretty unique. I don't imagine unprecedented, but pretty unique. You've never been the QB1 in college football. You've started some games because somebody was hurt, but hey, everybody's on the roster is healthy. What are you? You've never been QB1. Until now. But now you are. And you're QB1 for the number 1 team in the country, and you're the Heisman Trophy favorite. That's not normal. And you got to start your season, and for all intents and purposes, your college career. I know he's played, but he's never been this is yours. We're trying to get somewhere. We need you to take us there. He's never been that before. And now he's that. He's that with incredible expectations, and the first big test is on the road at Ohio State against the reigning national champions. This was incredible. We've talked about it all week. We've talked about it all month. This is as good as it gets. This is as good as it gets. But if he's not amazing, by definition, he will be disappointing. And that's hard, man. Just being pretty good will have them debating him on Get Up on ESPN every morning of the season. He has to be amazing or else he's disappointing. That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think he's going to be awesome.
I think he's going to be awesome, but do you think he wins the Heisman Trophy?
I mean, I think I would probably.
Would you take the field? I'd just take the field.
I would probably take Ohio State in that game tomorrow. But if he goes on the road and wins that game, dude.
Oh, then it's off. We're in another.
We're taking off.
Taking it off. We're taking off.
Yeah.
Like the Cooper Flagg thing, it took a minute to take off. It wasn't like he didn't open in this type of high profile game and score 45 points or anything like that. It was December, January. I can remember on the Eye on College Basketball podcast being he's been great, but it's not like there's no buzz connected to it. It's not really like people are waking up and talking about Cooper Flagg. And then I think that night he dunked against Pitt, and then it was like he became the biggest thing and ran away with the National Player of the Year awards. But it took a minute. Arch has an opportunity to burst
right
on
off the bat.
off the bat. You can be the biggest thing in one of the biggest things in American sports. He kind of is that already, but like you can have some substance to it with a big victory on the road at a place. But just imagine, you got to go your first big opportunity as the starting quarterback, QB1 at the University of Texas. It comes with leading the number 1 ranked team in the country, and you're having to beat the national champions on the road.
Tough spot.
Fascinating spot.
Yep.
Big game.
Big game. I'm so excited about this weekend. I watched so many games that I would on like a normal Saturday probably not watching at all. But man, I was dialed in last night. It was so much fun.
I was my middle guy had his own little football game, so we were locked into that for a while. But yeah, we had it on TV in addition to Mets Marlins. But we had it on TV last night, and I had eyeballs on it. And the scene, like the USF Boise thing, got a lot of attention just because it was an upset, and they beat them pretty bad, and that was the favorite to represent the non-power fours in the playoffs. So but then just the scene at Arrowhead was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I'm watching Buffalo, Minnesota, like it was.
Yeah, I didn't get all crazy.
Good stuff.
I didn't get crazy like that.
Yeah.
I roll my eyes sometimes at people like, and then I was, really excited about the Buffalo game. It's like, come on, you're not.
That was a potential upset alert.
It's fine. People can find pleasure wherever they want. All right, I'm not here to shame anybody for getting excited about the Buffalo game. It's just like, I have a cutoff, me personally.
Yeah, I hear you.
But the scene at Arrowhead, like that looked like college football. I know it was an NFL stadium, but it looked like college football. The Nebraska fans, I know Cincinnati got perhaps a lot of the attention because Travis Kelce was there, but like that was a Nebraska crowd.
Yes.
And
no question.
Those fans are amazing. Like that.
Dude, that is the one. I mean, I don't think it's hyperbole. That's one of the best fan bases in college sports.
And like, if you just like, if you're young, you won't remember any of this because you weren't alive. But there was a point in time in my childhood, that's like the biggest thing going.
In the early 90s. And remember it was like, 2 years ago when they sold out the football stadium for a
volleyball.
Yeah, man. Like they got a really good fan base. They
came here for the NCAA tournament. They've never won an NCAA tournament game, Nebraska.
And I want to say that was one of the biggest contingencies here.
Yeah.
Was the Nebraska crowd.
Well, I talked to Fred Hoiberg about it.
Yeah.
And he was like had a great time in Memphis. We love coming down. He played in the NBA, so he had been here before. But he was like, we traveled well. And he's like, but I really that's like what I want to do. I want to get this school an NCAA tournament victory. It's one of the few power conference schools that's never won an NCAA tournament game.
Wild.
And he was, they were hoping it would happen at FedEx Forum. It didn't. But like, my point is they traveled here for basketball. They fill up anything for volleyball. And those are amazing football fans. Like they have never been able to recapture what it once was. It's like this thing that used to be amazing and it hasn't been for a while. It's sort of weird, like the evolution of college athletics. There was a time where Nebraska football, I'm not saying that it was the exact same time, but similar times, Nebraska football was the biggest football thing. And UNLV basketball might have been the biggest basketball thing, right? There was a time where that was, like UNLV basketball will still pop up in a rap lyric every once in a while, just off of the strength of Larry Johnson and Stacey Augmon and Tark and all of that was happening. And then it just, for a variety of reasons, now it's just a thing. It's just a thing that used to be great, and now it's just a thing. And Nebraska is a thing that used to be great, and I don't know if it's just a thing, but it hadn't been a great thing. If you notice, they didn't have a number next to their name last night. They weren't on the default top 25 scoreboard. But big win last night. It is year 3 for Matt Rule. He's been a terrific college coach at multiple spots. So there's some real thought that maybe this is where it starts to turn around. But just regardless of how that game went last night, it looked the right way. It looked the way college football. That was, at least for me, that was like college football's here. Look at that stadium. It's cool that Patrick and Brittany are there and Travis and Taylor are there, but like just look at that stadium. That looks like a college football stadium.
Yeah.
That looks like college football. Should be a fun weekend.
I'm stoked.
I'm stoked too, Bennett. I'm stoked. You know who's not stoked? Dallas Cowboy fans, I gather.
Yeah, I think overall probably unhappy. Yes.
These poor Dallas sports fans.
Or just numb, maybe.
These poor Dallas sports fans. Think about this.
By the way, I listened to Dallas Sports Talk Radio after it happened, like the caller segment.
What was that like?
It was fun.
All right, let's get to that in a second.
Yeah.
These poor Dallas sports fans, in the same calendar year, have watched Luka Doncic get moved out of their city and Micah Parsons get moved out of their city. It is possible you will look back on the year 2025 and realize this is the year the world ended. That's obviously possible. But more specifically in sports, you could look back on the year 2025 and say, the Dallas NBA franchise and the Dallas NFL franchise, they both traded away generational talents in their primes. There's a scenario where you look up one day and Luka Doncic is one of the 10 best players who's ever lived, and Micah Parsons is one of the 10 best players who's ever lived. And you traded both of them away in their primes out of the wonderful city of Dallas. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough deal. We'll talk about it next.
When were you fine being a role player?
I always think of myself as the star player because I'm doing stuff that guys don't want to do. I'm making winning plays. The whole goal of this game is to win basketball games. I think of Alex Caruso, he's a star player to me. Drew Holiday is a star player to me.
Yes, indeed.
TA is a star player to me. You know
First
what I mean?
team. Yeah.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The Cowboys really did it.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yes.
I think most people were surprised.
Yep.
They traded Micah Parsons.
Yeah, not a great move if you want to win a Super Bowl.
It certainly downgrades the likelihood of you trying to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. Jerry Jones might disagree, but Jerry Jones seems to think Micah Parsons' name is Michael on some level. So
he did call him Michael multiple times and had to be corrected by his son. Yes.
Yikes. Is that intentional or is that just...
It's for sure intentional.
People do that. Why do people do that? Act like they don't...
I know Jerry's old, but come on. That was intentional.
Have we ever heard Jerry Jones call Micah Parsons Michael before?
No, I don't think so.
I've never heard it with these ears. I'm not saying it's never happened. I'm just saying I never heard it with these ears. So is it really just a coincidence that the first time he ever can't properly say Micah Parsons' name is hours after they trade him to the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah.
Probably not. He probably was into. But
it's only like the biggest story related to your franchise, of the season.
John Calipari used to do this. He would act like he didn't know people's name.
JP. He did it to JP.
JP Prince.
Yeah, no.
He would call him PJ.
Shout out White Station, class of 05.
Shout out White Station. He would call him PJ.
Mm-hmm.
He would say, yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, PJ's a nice player.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, come on. Like he did that on. Like I think he did that on purpose.
Yes.
And he would always he would never say Ole Miss. He would always say Mississippi. Yeah, we're looking forward to playing Mississippi. He would always say Mississippi. He would never say Ole Miss. Just little things like that. People do that.
So good.
I guess they think it gets under somebody's skin. Perhaps it does. I don't know. So he calls him Michael multiple times. It's just weird. But the headline is the headline. Micah Parsons, in his prime, with multiple years left on his contract, has been traded to the Green Bay Packers. In return, they got 3-time Pro Bowler Kenny Clark. I guess that's good.
He said they got to stop the run. He said we can't stop the run.
It's just little stuff like that.
I know.
Where you're motivating a monster saying shit like that.
Yeah.
You are motivating a monster. And they trade him to Green Bay for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. Yeah. And Jerry Jones, it's interesting watching all this unfold as I'm also watching the Cowboys documentary on Netflix because you're reminded of the Herschel Walker trade and how that changed the trajectory of the franchise. It really goes down in history as one of the best trades of all time. It almost, I don't remember it this way, but watching the documentary, have you got to that part yet? Well, it's like initially the Cowboys were ripped for it because I guess just the equivalent of Bobby Marks, who understands NFL contracts and trades and stuff, like that person didn't exist at the time to jump on TV and be like, well, let me explain to you what happened here. Let me explain to you what they're doing. But everybody thought initially that the Cowboys traded Herschel Walker for 5 whatever Minnesota Vikings. And it was like, these 5 guys suck. Why are you taking them and moving Herschel Walker? What are you doing? But there was a stipulation in the trade that if the Cowboys then decided they didn't want these players, they could just give them back for first-round picks. And so when people realize, oh, no, they're not keeping any of these players. They're dumping them in exchange for first-round picks. It was almost like the Minnesota Vikings didn't even think they were going to do that. Because it was like, well, these players, maybe they're not, none of them are great, but like they're good enough to help you.
Yeah.
They're better than some people you got. And so if you want to be respectable at all, you can't just cut these players for draft picks. And they were like, oh, no, yes, we can. In fact, that's what we're going to do. And that's what led to the dynasty. And you hear Jerry Jones talk about this yesterday. He referenced Herschel Walker. He seems to think this is comparable. And if so, nobody else does. Nobody else thinks this is comparable.
I'm going to be honest. I think deep down, I mean, I know the guy wants to win another Super Bowl. I'm sure that in his mind he thinks that. But I also think that, and I've seen people say this, I think Jerry Jones at this point in his life is in the money making business. And maybe that idea of another Super Bowl before he's gone doesn't matter as much as maybe it once did.
Perhaps.
Because I think that we know he's in the money making business. We know that. It's just he's always been that way.
Perhaps. I can't get inside Jerry Jones's head from anywhere, especially here. Perhaps you're right. If I were guessing, here's what I think happens. And this happens to incredibly powerful, wealthy people sometimes as they age. The ego takes over. And you can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, because he's caved before. I mean, caved. He's come to deals with star players in recent memory before.
I think he thought he was going to be able to do that here.
Yeah.
I'll make them mad. I'll fight with them. We'll negotiate hard. I'll talk in the media the way I always do. I'll say some things that they won't like. But throughout my entire life, this stuff has always worked out the way I need it to work out, for the most part. This will be just the same. And the problem here is he got involved in a ugly negotiation, a very public back and forth with somebody who made it clear, I'm not the one to mess with.
I'm not budging, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to crawl back to you. All right? Yeah, there was a time where I dreamed about all of this, but man, I don't like the way you've handled this. I don't like the way you've disrespected me. I don't like the way you've talked about me, and I stand for something. All right? So if you think I'm crawling back, no chance. I'll really sit this thing out. Now, whether he would have or not, who knows? But in these types of things, it often does come down to who blinks first. Mm-hmm. Who's going to blink, right? Jimmy Butler in Miami. Who's going to blink? Well, we don't want to trade Jimmy Butler. Well, I don't want to be here. All right. Well, who's going to get most uncomfortable first?
Yeah.
That's usually the direction these things go. All right. Who can stand strong on it? Who's really willing to be in this? Man, you won't sit out for real. Oh, yes, I will. Watch. You won't refuse to sign Micah Parsons to a long-term deal, make him the highest paid whatever. Oh, yes, I will. Now, who blinks first? We are both on opposite sides of this, and neither one of us are suggesting we're going to budge. But somebody's got to move eventually. Can't just stand there forever. Somebody's got to move eventually. Micah Parsons said, I'm not moving. Mm-hmm. And it compelled the Cowboys to at least start listening to offers. And then they got one from Green Bay. And the Packers, even before the deal was official, had already negotiated a new contract with Micah Parsons, making him, the highest, everything he wanted to be. Which, by the way, the numbers that are being reported, $47 million a year, big guarantee. It is in excess of what even Jerry Jones has indicated the Cowboys tried to offer him earlier in the offseason. So if you're looking for who won on this thing, Micah Parsons, by refusing to agree to the deal that Jerry Jones thought he and Micah agreed to without the presence of an agent, well, the agent got in there with Green Bay and got a better deal, a bigger deal with more guaranteed money, reportedly, and a higher average annual salary. So the agent here did good work, and Micah Parsons reportedly got a better deal. And like any trade, we'll see where it goes from here. But on a surface level, the early returns are not good, because I saw some NFL reporters tweet, I just talked to another general manager in the NFL, and they were like, we would have offered more than that for Micah Parsons. So why are you sending him to an NFC rival?
Who you play this season?
When there were better offers out there to be had? Did you really shop this thing the way you should have? Which, by the way, was a similar complaint to the Mavericks and Luka Doncic. If you just decide you want to be out of the Luka Doncic business, seems stupid, but whatever.
That one's way more egregious because Dallas got a better return. The Cowboys got a better return than the Mavs got for Luka, in my opinion.
Perhaps. I mean, it's different situations and whatever. But the similarity is people said if the Mavericks would have just called everybody, they could have got a better deal than the deal they got from the Lakers, but they only called the Lakers, and so they got that deal. But they could have got more if they'd have just done this the right way. And what other GMs were telling just Adam Schefter last night was they could have got more than 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark if they'd have just called me. And, oh, by the way, the Packers now shoot straight to the tip-top of the NFC projections. The Eagles are still the favorite in the NFC in the betting markets as of this morning, but the Packers are now second.
Yeah, their odds flipped in their division. It was, in the sports books at least, the Lions were favored to win that division. Pretty much this entire offseason, now it's flipped. Packers are favored.
Eagles are plus 370 to win the NFC. Packers are now plus 650. That's second best odds to win the NFC. That would make them the favorite also in their division. And the Cowboys drop down to plus 3,000. They are 12th in the NFC, behind the Bears, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. That's not where you want to be. That's not where you want to be.
That's a tough spot.
And if the Packers, this is my larger point, so we'll see how the trade works out over the coming years. But if the Packers are really as good as everybody thinks they're going to be now, what are those first-round picks really going to be anyway?
True.
26th?
That's a good point.
You're going to get the 26th pick next year and the 28th pick the year after that? So you get Kenny Clark approaching 30, like right around 30, and a couple picks in the 20s for a generational talent who, by the way, you can talk about we need to stop the run, and we haven't been able to stop the run. Saw this last night as well. NFL analysts tweeted the following. Micah's value was not just in his own personal production, and the personal production, by the way, was off the charts. You realize there's only 2 men who have ever recorded at least 12 sacks in each of their first 4 seasons in the NFL. 2. One of them is Reggie White. The other one is Micah Parsons. All right?
How about that?
So his individual performance, stats, numbers, great. But as this person pointed out, the value is not just in his personal production. It's also in how his gravity just makes everything easier for everybody else to produce. And there's a advanced metric that football people talk about the same way we talk about, offensive rebounding percentage and points per possession and blah, blah, blah. But it's called expected points added. And just last year, for whatever this is worth, Dallas had the best defense in the NFL as it pertains to expected points added when Micah Parsons was on the field, and the worst when he wasn't.
Damn.
It went from best when he's on there to worst.
That's crazy.
When he's not. That's who you just traded away. And like old Big Mouth over there, how you think he feels?
I don't think he's happy.
You spend all offseason wanting to be excited about your team, and then something like this.
But I think he's all like, and I told you I was listening. I've had to flip on like one of the big Dallas sports talk stations like when it happened because I wanted to hear the caller segment. I love hearing the crash outs. I do think that there is this. I know that like people like to clown on Cowboys fans because they're so loud, but I do think they are just kind of resigned to how it is now. I do. After all these years,
it feels like it's going to be messy until it's over with him.
With Jerry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like it's going to be
well, his son, but then his son just takes over.
And you hope that he's not like his father on some level. Like that he has certain aspects of his father, sure, but like can leave some of it out of the mainstream media because it's just messy a lot. It's just there's always something going on that shouldn't be going on. And I really do think that at this point, he's gotten to a point where he can't see the forest for the trees. He's so sure of himself in a way that honestly probably nobody should be, but certainly not somebody aging in that way and making decisions both privately and publicly that people just overwhelmingly disagree with all the time. And it's one thing if you keep doing these unconventional things and handling things in unconventional ways but look at the product. The product's great. But the product's not great. They are expected, at least their odds are longer to win the NFC than the Bears.
Yeah.
All right? That's where you're at now. That's where you're at right now. And even yesterday, you watched that press conference yesterday. The thing that got most of the attention is he just kept calling him Michael Parsons instead of Micah. And you could chalk that up to being petty or being old. Either one. It could be a combination of the two, right? But there were other things he said that are just like, what? He was asked, this is the simplest question. By the way, the answer to this question should almost always be yes. Regardless of who you are, regardless of where you're at. You probably, if you're answering honestly, or if you have any sense about you, the answer to this question should be yes. Jerry Jones was asked this question yesterday. Do you have any regrets about how all this went down? Do you have any regrets about how you handled this? Do you have any regrets? Let's just leave it there. Do you have any regrets? As you're sitting here right now, you just traded away a generational talent, arguably the greatest defensive football player in the world, who has a chance to go down as one of the greatest defensive players of all time, has already done some things in his career that suggest he's on path to be one of the greatest defensive players of all time. He's still in his prime. You just traded him to Green Bay. Their Super Bowl odds went this way, and yours went this way. Do you have any regrets? You know what he said? No. I can't stand that. I can't stand people who can't acknowledge that maybe you could have done something differently, because almost all of us
could have done something different. Yeah.
Almost all of us, anytime we find ourselves in a situation where, man, this ain't where I expected to be. Man, this kind of, how'd I get here? Almost all of us should have some regrets. We almost always play some role in it turning out the way that it turned out if it didn't turn out well. Maybe somebody else bears more responsibility, but the idea that anybody could end up in this spot and not have regrets doesn't make any sense to me. And yet he can't even bring himself to acknowledge that. It's such an easy thing to say. Of course I do. This is crazy. I never thought I was going to trade Micah Parsons. Now I'm happy with what we got back, and I'm excited about the future. And we're going to try to make lemonade out of these lemons. Mm-hmm. But do I have any regrets? Yeah, I didn't want to get this sideways with somebody we drafted, we brought here, we loved, and we thought would retire here and have his name in the stadium. And now he's off to play in Green Bay. Do I have regrets? Of course I do. But it's a tough business, and sometimes things get sideways, and hopefully we'll learn from this, and we wish Micah nothing but the best. It's just easy. Can't do it. He cannot do it. And that's probably among the reasons you end up in this situation, because you can't even do that. And that should be the easiest thing in the world to do. That to me, that meant more in that press conference than the whole Michael stuff. That meant more. What we're watching is a man who has been so powerful and so in charge of everything and so unchecked for so long that even when he clearly messes up a situation that leads to the departure of one of the greatest football players in the world, even when he does, he can't even acknowledge that he might have, could have, should have done something slightly differently. That's a character flaw.
Yeah.
My condolences to not just Cowboy fans, but Dallas sports fans in general.
Tough.
In the same calendar year, you watched your favorite basketball team trade Luka Doncic in his prime, and your favorite football team trade Micah Parsons in his prime. That can't be fun.
He still got Cooper Flagg and Paige Beckers.
That's right. Right.
You know.
Yeah, he still
they're not doing terribly.
No, but that's still.
Yeah, I get it.
There are countless children in the greater Dallas area who this time a year ago were walking around with Doncic jerseys and Parsons jerseys.
Oof.
I saw Post Malone in Las Vegas. He was rocking a Micah Parsons jersey. Got to get some new jerseys.
You got to be careful with those jersey purchases. That's a big purchase.
You don't.
But I think if you're in fairness, I think you think you're safe when you buy one of those.
You should be.
NFL a little bit tougher. I think when you buy a Luka jersey in Dallas, you feel good. We're good here. I can wear this for years.
And here's
I'm
the other
fine.
thing. Luka Doncic never wanted to leave Dallas. And Micah Parsons
never wanted to leave. He might have at the end.
Maybe, but up until the point he was traded, he had no interest in leaving Dallas. And Micah Parsons never had any interest in leaving Dallas until it got so ugly. And Jerry Jones tried to hold him to a contract that he didn't even think he was negotiating because his agent wasn't present.
Yeah.
Neither one of these guys wanted out of there until you made it to where they were on their way out. I bet there'll be a documentary about it.
Number 2.
Congratulations to Rick Barnes. He's your Tennessee basketball coach, and he's now got what they're describing as a lifetime contract. Look at that. With those sunglasses on, that's Rick Barnes.
Did we ever give Coach Cal a lifetime contract?
No.
We didn't. I couldn't remember.
Basically what those mean, they don't mean what you think they mean.
They don't mean anything.
What it means is the contract will just roll over every year. So Bill Self has one of these contracts. A lot of coaches do. But Bill is the guy who gets held up as he's got a lifetime contract.
Yeah.
What that really means is you got a 5-year contract. And so think of it as a basketball player, like an NBA player, like Jaren Jackson Jr.'s got a 5-year contract. Well, then after this year, it'll be like a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
And after this year, it'll be a 3-year contract, whatever. These contracts, it'll be a 5-year contract. You coach a year, then they just add another year onto it. You were always coaching with a 5-year contract. Mm-hmm. So you're forever coaching on a 5-year, $20 million contract. And it's just always there. And you can walk away from it whenever you want to walk away from it. But if we ever want to fire you for whatever reason, end your lifetime contract, it will cost us in some cases, the entire contract.
Gotcha.
So it's basically you can coach here as long as you want to coach here and then walk away whenever you want. Or we might decide we don't want you to coach here anymore. But if we do decide that, we got to pay you a lot of money to make you go away. You're going to be fine regardless of how this unfolds. So Rick Barnes is the latest.
Gotcha.
Coach to have a lifetime contract. He's now 71 years old.
Okay. Lifetime contract for a guy that never gotten them to the Final Four.
Oh, Bennett came out.
We just handing out lifetime contracts, aren't we? I mean, my goodness.
He has never gotten them to a Final Four.
Lifetime contract.
Nobody's ever gotten them to a Final
Bill
Four.
Self, I believe, has gotten Kansas to the Final Four. I think they've won the whole thing.
Multiple times.
I think
He
if
has
I
two.
remember correctly.
He has two.
Yeah.
I guess what it takes to get a lifetime contract at Kansas is different than what it takes to get a lifetime contract at Tennessee. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. No, that's okay. If you're happy with it, I'm happy with it.
He has been to 7 straight NCAA tournaments.
That's good.
Including 2 straight Elite Eights.
That's really good.
And 3 straight Sweet 16s.
That's really good.
You want to take a guess last time your alma mater was in the Sweet 16?
Well, I'm not out giving my coach a lifetime contract.
Fair counterpoint.
I mean,
fair counterpoint. Fair counterpoint. The answer is 2009.
Okay, that's fine.
2009.
Shoot, if they're giving him a lifetime, I'll give Penny a lifetime contract. He means more to Memphis. Like, my God.
Bennett. That's Rick Barnes.
I'm just saying, man. Lifetime contract. Never got him to a Final Four.
I ain't seen you this upset since Cracker Barrel changed that logo.
Yeah.
Calm it down a little bit. That's Rick Barnes.
Okay.
He's been to 7 straight NCAA tournaments and 3 straight Sweet 16s, including 2 Elite Eights.
Okay.
He's had him knocking on the door of the Final Four. Just got to break through.
That's good. Yeah, well, hey.
It is pretty remarkable that this has unfolded the way it unfolded. This is one that I was just completely wrong about. I did not think this would work out well.
Because who was before him?
Donnie Tyndall.
That's right. Because he was, where was he? Iowa State or Iowa? He was.
No, Donnie,
where did he come from?
Southern Miss.
That's right, Southern Miss. Oh, the same mascot. That's why
He got.
I was like,
then they had major NCAA violations at Southern Miss. I think Donnie would have been good at Tennessee had he not gotten overwhelmed by the NCAA stuff at Southern Miss. But then they had to fire him, and so Rick had been at Texas forever, and that's where I first got to know him.
Yep.
Texas was in the Big 12. Kansas was in the Big 12. It felt like, this isn't true, but it felt like I was at a Texas-Kansas game every year. Spent a lot of time down in Austin. Got to be around Rick and his staff. Like him a lot. Still do like him a lot. But it had sort of fallen off at Texas after a while. He never really just drove it straight into the ground. Like even the last 2 years at Texas, he went to the NCAA tournament. But he had sort of reached a point at Texas where you make the tournament every year, typically get bounced earlier than you should have every year. That is
they were done with it.
That's his reputation. And they would, more than that, it coincided with like the rise of Scott Drew at Baylor.
Yes.
Whether it was Mark Turgeon or
there was a little,
any of the other coaches that came
there
through
early on
at Texas. Oh yeah,
I remember that.
Oh yeah, there was definitely there
was some beef between him and Scott Drew. Yes,
and then multiple different Texas A&M coaches were recruiting at a high level down there. So Texas had sort of, you make the tournament every year, but you don't go anywhere. And now we're getting out recruited in the state of Texas by Baylor and Texas A&M. Like, what? This is the University of Texas. We can be better than this. And so they moved him. They fired him. And the year that they fired him, he had just made the NCAA tournament. It's not like he missed the tournament and they got him. He went to the tournament in 2014, the tournament in 2015, and then they fired him. And if you remember the press conference at Texas, he was like, they were like, "You're going to coach again?" He said, "Yeah, I think so. And probably sooner than you think." The Tennessee thing was already lined up. So he takes the Tennessee job. And here was my observation on that. Rick Barnes is obviously a Hall of Fame caliber-ish coach. He maybe didn't punch it through as often as you would like at Texas or as often as you should, like second weekends, Elite Eights, Final Fours, all that stuff. He went to one when he had TJ Ford. But still, this is one of the most consistently successful programs in the country. He's done a wonderful job there. But now he's in his 60s. This is when he gets hired at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
He's just struggled recruiting at Texas. Texas as a state, incredible basketball talent. There's talent in Dallas. There's talent in Houston. You're the University of Texas. And he had struggled to recruit in his last years at UT. The days of recruiting Kevin Durant and Tristan Thompson and Mike Kabanga, that was all over. They weren't recruiting like that anymore, not consistently. So if you're at the University of Texas with Dallas as a natural recruiting spot and Houston as a natural recruiting spot, and you're the biggest deal in this biggest state, and you're not recruiting anymore, how are you going to recruit to Knoxville, Tennessee, where there's no basketball talent? And the best basketball talent in the city is in Memphis, but they largely don't want to come to Tennessee if they're good enough to go to Memphis. So how's this going to work? I didn't make any like grand statements like this is going to be a disaster, but I just sort of wondered, if you can't recruit at Texas, how are you going to recruit at Tennessee? And if you couldn't break through at Texas, how are you going to break through at Tennessee? And that was a pretty reasonable opinion for about 2 years. He got off to a rough start.
Yes.
He went 15-19 in year one, 16-16 in year two, and wasn't recruiting. Like the whole Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield, like that's the group that broke through.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys weren't anything. Grant Williams was a fat kid in North Carolina. Nobody wanted. Admiral Schofield, like a 3-star prospect. So it was like 2 straight bad years, or like whatever years, finished 12th and 9th in the SEC, and you're not recruiting. It looked like he might be gone by year 3, year 4, year 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then that recruiting class, unheralded as it was, became the core of a team that I think like was ranked top 5 in the country. I know finished tied for first in the SEC. They won an SEC championship in year 3. And since he did that, it's been consistently good. Still hasn't gone to a Final Four. I know you like to talk about that. But it has been, in recent years, one of the most consistent quality basketball
really
programs
good.
in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been really good.
Yep.
And better than, this has gone better than I thought it would go. So I'm happy for Rick Barnes. I hate that this suggests we're going to have to wait a little longer than we otherwise might to get the Memphis-Tennessee series renewed, unless you think Rick will have a change of heart, and there's no evidence that he will. But still, Tennessee basketball, we now know who's going to be coaching there, at least for the foreseeable future, barring health concerns or a change of heart. Rick Barnes, 71 years old, he's got a lifetime contract in Knoxville.
Number 3.
Doris Burke is out as the lead NBA analyst on ESPN's #1 broadcasting team. She will be replaced by Tim Legler. What do you think?
Well, I like both of them.
I do too.
I think Legler's great. We've talked about him before. Like, he's one of the people that when I watch him, like on ESPN's NBA coverage, like I actually do feel like I'm learning something about the game or what I'm watching.
I watch everything he does.
So
because
I really
think
like
he's really smart.
Yeah, but I really like Doris too. So bummed for her, but I think they got a really good talent that they're replacing her with.
This is
it's just kind of what happens.
I think you and I are in a similar place.
Yeah.
I love Doris Burke.
Yeah.
Like on a personal level, I really enjoyed Doris Burke. I don't know her well, but
saying the same thing. She educates me about the game too.
She's great.
Yeah.
Our interactions have been wonderful over the years. She's very kind. And then she's just really good. Like I think I said this when it was first reported ESPN was considering this. I think I said what I'm about to say. If I owned a network and we had NBA properties, I would try to hire both of those people. I like them both. There are people at ESPN that I wouldn't hire. There are people everywhere I wouldn't hire, right? I'm telling you, I would hire both. I would try to hire both of those people. I think they're both excellent at what they do. But I do think they're both excellent, not just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, my heart breaks for Doris because tell me what you make of this. What's better, to never get it or to have it for 2 years and very publicly lose it? I think I would almost rather not get it than publicly lose it
I don't know. I mean, it's not like she's going away. Like, we're going to see her on
They
NBA
gave her a
broadcasts.
contract extension.
Yeah,
She's just going to be on the number 2 team instead of the number 1 team.
Yeah.
So, but that does mean like you're not doing the NBA Finals anymore.
Right.
That's over.
True.
You did 2 NBA Finals. Congratulations. You made history. You're the first woman to ever do that. But that's over now. We've given that job to somebody else in a very public way. I think I would rather not ever get it than get it and lose it so quickly. I felt bad for her.
Yeah, I did.
Because it's kind of, it's not embarrassing or humiliating, but I would personally feel a little bit of that. Like they gave me a shot and then somebody decided either I'm not good enough or somebody's better than me. And it would sting a little bit.
Sure.
It would sting a little bit.
Yep.
But the problem, of course, because I see everybody has strong opinions about this. And because some people are like, and it comes down to misogynistic, like there's a lot of that in it. So they're like, you see multiple strong opinions. One would be just like, get her off, she stinks. And some of that is what we just described.
Yeah.
And then some of it is like, I love Doris Burke and I can't believe they did this to her. She's the best and I can't believe they did this to her, right? You get that opinion a little bit too. And sort of where I'm at is, I love Doris Burke. I like her on games. I enjoyed her on the finals. I find her to be compelling, smart, capable, and really good. But the other guy's really good too, you know? So like, I like Doris Burke, but if somebody sit down and said, yeah, but Tim Legler is like amazing. You know that, GP? And we have Tim Legler. Why would we not use him? We love Doris Burke. That's why she's going to be on our number 2 team, and we gave her a contract extension. But this other guy is a real needle mover.
I also think too, like just there has been like a push on social media for him to get a better
because
role in NBA coverage.
Because he would go on after playoff games, and because the NBA playoffs last like half the year, it feels like it's every night. So you watch NBA playoff games, then he pops in studio with Scott Van Pelt, and he's got that. He's breaking down film live on SportsCenter and explaining to you exactly why what you just watched happened. And he's doing it in a way that most people who consume basketball don't even see. And doing it in a way that makes it easy for people who don't really know it like that to consume. You can watch Tim Legler break down a basketball game and then come in here, and even if you don't know anything about basketball, be like, well, you know, the way the Celtics were guarding those high ball screens, like you could just start talking like that because he's very good at breaking it down in plain terms and showing it to you. And that just makes for incredible like YouTube content. I am not lying when I tell you there are days during the NBA playoffs where I would drive into the studio, and on my drive in, I am watching Tim Legler's YouTube clips from SportsCenter the night before because I'm like, I just want to see what he saw. I want to see what he thought about the way Milwaukee handled this situation because he's smart. And I will watch that and go, yeah, that's what I thought. That's how I feel. Or sometimes I'll watch it and I'll go, I didn't see that. Or, I didn't realize that. And he'll make me reconsider because he's really, really good. So in a vacuum, that guy being on finals coverage is amazing and well-deserved, earned. But I don't like that it comes at the expense of Doris. But I can also understand if you have Tim Legler, why would you not want to use him? So it's a delicate story. I'm sure uncomfortable, but I can't stand up and be like, this is wrong, because I don't know that it's wrong. I think they've got 2 very good people there, 2 very good people, and they only want to put one of them in that seat. And so you got to make a hard decision, and it sounds like they made a hard decision.
Number 4.
Kyle Schwarber went wild last night. Please tell me you had a home run bet on him, because that would have been something.
I have been betting Kyle Schwarber home runs all season long. And for some reason, I just forgot to last night, and he hits 4 of them.
4 home runs. And I don't know that non-baseball fans understand how rare this is, but like this does not happen. We've been playing baseball for a long time at the major league level. Last night was only the 21st time somebody has ever hit 4 home runs in a baseball game. And he did it in a blowout, but it was still a nice scene because the Philly fans stuck around. First off, they're first place in the NL East. They've got a really good team. They're, if not World Series favorites, they're among the favorites even after the loss of Zach Wheeler for the season. They're ace. So you're going to get good crowds anyway at this point in the season because you're not only you're in first place, you just got swept by the Mets, so that the NL East is a little tighter than it otherwise would be. These games matter. Last night, the Mets played a game last night, the Phillies played a game last night, and Mets fans were paying attention to the Phillies game, and Phillies fans were paying attention to the Mets game, right? And so there's a nice crowd. Schwarber gets the home run. That's 1, 2, 3, and he comes up late in the game with an opportunity to make history. 2 home runs in a game, see that all the time. 3 home runs in a game, yeah, it happens. It's cool when it does, but it does happen. 4 home runs in a game, that's rare company. So anytime somebody comes up with this type of opportunity, it's a big deal. Yep. You could sense that last night. Kyra, if we got it queued up, let's watch Kyle Schwarber hit his 4th home run of the night.
1-2. That one's drilled deep to right field. He has done it. 4 home runs in a game. A 3-run home run.
I like the way these stadiums now, they have the lights going in and out. And it looks like a big party when somebody homers. And it was a great crowd there. I love those uniforms.
I do too. Those are nice.
There's something about that color of blue that I like. I hate the Phillies. I don't guess I hate the Phillies, but they're my enemy. They're my sworn enemy.
Yep.
I love those uniforms. When Ole Miss wears those baby blues, I like those.
Oh, man, when the Titans bust out the Oilers uniforms.
I like that
Love
color.
that. It's my favorite.
I like that color. I like Kyle Schwarber. He's awesome. Do you know his story? This is wild. So at this point, he's of baseball players, he's pretty recognizable because he won a World Series with the Cubs, because he played for the Cubs, because he's been in home run derbies, because he hits long home runs, because he used to fall all over himself in the outfield. He couldn't catch at all. He's a struggle sometimes. But he played his first 6 seasons with the Cubs, all right? He came up in 2015. It's a little bit like we've been talking about with Nolan McClain tonight with the Mets, Jonah Tong, these late season call-ups, rookies. They weren't with you to start the season, but now they're prominent players in your organization as you're pushing toward a possible World Series. This isn't, like we've talked about, something you see in the NBA, something you see in the NFL, but you can really bring up rookies in Major League Baseball late in a championship caliber season, and they can help you pursue the championship. It's happening in New York right now, hopefully. They do this with Kyle Schwarber in Chicago in 2015. He comes up. He hits 5 home runs in that postseason. Do you realize that is still, at the time he did it, he was the youngest player to ever hit 5 home runs in a postseason. And he is still the youngest player to ever hit 5 home runs in a postseason. He went into the record books immediately. Legendary start to his big league career. In 2020, he hits 188 with 11 homers in 59 games. And after that season, he's up for arbitration, which in baseball is a normal thing, where basically an arbitrator determines how much you're going to make next year. You say, I think I should make this amount of money. And the franchise says, I think you should only make this amount of money. And then an arbitrator comes in and uses comps and whatever and says, I think this is the number it should be. And then that's the number you play at, right? So he's up for arbitration. And the number was expected to be somewhere between $7.9 million and $9.3 million. That's what we're arguing about. So the Cubs were going to have to either let him go, non-tender him, or get into a situation where they will likely have to pay him somewhere between $7.9 million and $9.3 million to play baseball next year. And they non-tendered him. They said, just go on. We're done here. And then he signs in Washington, plays a year there, plays a year in Boston, and then eventually signs a 4-year, $79 million contract with the Phillies. So now he's making $19.75 million a year. Not bad, obviously. But that's 39% of what Juan Soto's making. All right? He is still a bargain. And he just became the 21st player ever to hit 4 homers in a game. He now has a career-high 49 homers on the season. He is second in MVP, National League MVP in the betting markets, behind only Shohei Ohtani. And in the past 4 seasons with the Phillies, he's hit 46 homers in 2022, 47 in 2023, 38 last year. He's got 49 and counting right now. He's only 32 years old. He's got 329 career home runs. He's a possible future MVP. And a possible, a little early to start saying things like this, but it's like, it's possible. He could be in the Hall of Fame someday. And the Cubs let him walk rather than pay him like $9 million.
Yikes.
They could have. Ty Jerome makes $9 billion to beat John Morant's backup.
Right.
And you let Kyle Schwarber walk over that. Just for fun last night. Sometimes I ask questions to AI Overview. Sometimes I like to know what AI Overview. Sometimes I like to know what they think about stuff. And so I just asked AI Overview. I said, the Cubs non-tendering Kyle Schwarber, was that a mistake? Here's what AI Overview told me. Yes. Most analysts and the Cubs' own general manager, Jed Hoyer, now view the non-tender of Kyle Schwarber after the 2020 season as a mistake, citing his significant power and continued success as one of the best leadoff hitters and a key reason for other teams' postseason runs, while the Cubs have struggled to find a consistent power threat since his departure. AI says it was a mistake.
Yikes.
My eyeballs say it was a mistake. Congratulations to Kyle Schwarber. He entered rare company last night, becoming just the 21st man in Major League Baseball history to homer 4 times in one game.
Number 5.
Sweet scene this morning in Central Gardens where hundreds of people gathered once again to finish Liza's run in, of course, memory of Eliza Fletcher, who was murdered. It's now 3 years ago.
Man.
What an awful story.
Yeah.
It's like a sweet scene. My buddy Mark was out there this morning, and he said it was just, just nice to be there. One number I saw was around 500 people. Not all of them running, of course, but gathered. And it just sort of brings back into the consciousness, I guess, like just how horrific and how awful of a story that is. And I still think about it all the time.
I do too.
Just like my middle guy had a football game near there earlier this week. And I just happened to drive by, where it happened, where she was abducted. And it I guess it's just sort of weird the way you connect places and sites to things. Like there are restaurants I'll drive by and I'll be like, I remember one time I had lunch with so-and-so there. That's the thing that pops into my head when I drive by this place. And when I drive by that place, I'm just reminded of that. And then oddly, this is just a weird thing. Right off of the interstate, there's that near 92.9 where we used to work. There's like this boat company. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I remember
by Lamar. Yeah, when you get off on Lamar.
And I think I remember, you can see it from the interstate. I think I remember reading at the time, like her husband worked at that place or had something to do with that place. And so now, for whatever weird reason, every time I drive there, which is all the time because it's on the interstate, and I see that place and I think of that. And just the idea that this young woman, this young mother, was just running in her city, a city she loved and cared deeply about. And there's just a criminal on the street who probably shouldn't have been there. And just, the story. And just the idea that somebody's life could end that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think, get numb to this kind of stuff sometimes because we watch so many Datelines and listen to true crime podcasts, and it's just like, yeah, and then something awful happened. But like, this is something awful that happened here to somebody I didn't know, but I have friends who were friends with her, and their kids like were taught by her, and by all accounts she was just a bright light, just a wonderful young woman and a mother. And now those children are growing up without her, and that's a hole you can't fill, man. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's, as people, we have a tendency to just move on. we always like to say, well, we'll never forget this and we'll never forget that. And then we can't even remember what it is we swore we'd never forget. I'm guilty of that myself. But it is nice on some level if you're just trying to find any good in this. And there's not much. But I do like that her children get to see their community rally around their mother and really remember her. And don't let it just slip away. It was, again, 3 years ago. Like, I can remember
oh, man.
Like, I remember the morning.
It was a rough time. Yep.
Because I can remember I was in New York, and you just sort of see it popping on social media. And it was like a woman has been kidnapped near the University of Memphis. Like, what? Kidnapped. And I just remember, and they were like, GP, what happened? And I'm like, it sounds like somebody just snatched her off the street. She was running. And they're like, what? And you just hope to God it doesn't end the way you think it might. But then the news just gets worse and worse and worse. And so it's just as bad as it gets. Awful. But I do like that we haven't moved on. And we haven't forgotten. And there are things that, like that, her name is going to matter here forever, or be remembered here forever. Her name is on things.
Yeah.
And
the new soccer stadium. Yep.
Yeah. And I like that her children are going to be able to know that their mom mattered.
Yep.
And that people still remember, and that a community still tries to keep that alive. And that happened here in this city this morning. Sometimes we get into conversations about some of the not so great stuff that goes on here. And obviously the root of this story is that. But that was sweet this morning. That was a sweet scene in our city this morning. And so special shouts to everybody that got up and went out there. You made a sweet scene that can hopefully help us manage the memory of just one of the saddest and scariest tragedies we've had in the city in recent years. Be back with GP's Carryout.
It's a massive weapon to have you pressuring the ball that far up. It wrecks offenses.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to do it. I think that's the main thing. Like, who wants to pick up full court the whole game? And on the opposite end, who wants someone picking them up full court the whole game?
It's annoying.
So it's annoying, so I feel like that's why I like doing it, because it's like, I wouldn't want someone to do it to me the whole game. It just shows how well-conditioned they are, too, because, like, damn, this dude will not stop.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
The NBA announced their dunk of the year yesterday. It was voted on by the fans, and it went to Ja Morant for his double clutch through Porzingis and Derek White. The call of it was excellent. That game we hung on to for a long time last season, but it was a spectacular dunk.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hart, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Welcome back, Gary Pitt. Uh-oh!
I see the trucks.
That's Food Truck Friday. That's Food Truck Friday. Can we zoom in and see what's out there? What do you think's out there, Bennett? Tell me what's out there, Bennett.
Hang on.
Tell me what's out there. Let's decide right now what we're going to put in our tummy.
I got to pull up the list.
Let's decide right now what we think we're going to put in our tummy.
Okay, this week's food trucks will feature Lil Miracles, Lost Vegan, and Mr. Fraser's Fish Fry. God, that's a hard... Mr. Fraser's Fish Fry.
Mr. Fraser's Fish Fry.
Yeah.
Mr. Fraser's Fish Fry. Fraser's Fish Fry.
I
Say
like
it.
a good...
You try to say it.
Mr. Fraser's Fish Fry.
You struggle?
Yeah.
Mr. Fraser's Fish Fry. Mr.
Sounds pretty
Fraser's
good.
Fish Fry. I like a good fish fry.
I like a fish fry, too.
I like a good fish fry. You think they got a hush puppy?
I'm sure. This kind of... You have to have that, don't you?
I love a hush puppy.
I love a hush puppy as well.
Man, I like a...
But, you know, no matter what I like, I always just go to whichever one's the shortest line.
We are so impatient.
I really am.
I will,
Whoever's got the shortest line is
If
who...
we rank those food trucks 1 to 3, I will not consider our ranking as much as I consider where the shortest line is.
Yep.
I will eat wherever nobody else is at.
Me too.
That's where I'm going.
Every time.
Wherever you guys are, I'm going to the other place.
Mm-hmm.
Think that's a proper approach to Food Truck Friday?
Probably not, but that's okay.
It feels like it might not be a proper approach. We're going to find out in a second.
Yes, we are.
We'll find out in a second. Let's do GP's Carryout.
Time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Well, there's an interesting story, ESPN.com, about how the odds have shifted pretty dramatically in this Texas-Ohio State game. When the books first opened months ago and put Texas-Ohio State on the board, it was Ohio State -3. Ohio State, reigning national champs at home, 3-point favorite over Arch Manning and the Texas Longhorns. You see what the number is now? Texas -1.5. It's moved 4.5 points. And Texas is now the favorite. They are expected, with a first-year starting quarterback, to go into Ohio State University, the Ohio State University, and beat the reigning national champions who have the greatest receiver who has ever lived. What do you make of that?
We'll decide it on the field.
We're going to decide it on the field.
Yep.
We're going to decide it on the field. Lee Corso, of course, will get most of the attention tomorrow on College Game Day. It'll be his final appearance. I saw he was in the airport flying.
Oh, and they did there.
Did you see that?
That was nice.
It was sweet.
Yeah.
I
hope I get a round of applause one day.
You won't.
I know.
In all seriousness, most television careers, here's the way I envision my career will end someday. I just will disappear.
Yeah.
You'll just look up and you'll be like, I wonder what happened to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hey, whatever happened to the bald guy? You know, whatever happened to the bald guy? Most of us, we just disappear, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We all like to think we matter, and the truth is, somebody else can talk into these microphones. Somebody else can break down a Mountain West basketball game. It'll be fine. We mostly just come and go, right? Nobody cares. But here's a man, Lee Corso, who, he does matter. People do care. Mm-hmm. And he's getting a proper send-off. It has gotten, for me, because it's gotten uncomfortable watching him on television. I just get very uncomfortable with... I don't like watching people struggle. I hope if I ever get to a point where I find it difficult to speak coherently, I'm not doing this anymore. I wouldn't want to be a greatly diminished version of myself trying to do this every day, right? And that's, respectfully, that is where it has gotten for Lee Corso. It got hard. It got hard for him to do that. And Kirk Herbstreit, bless his heart, put his arm really try to protect him and help him and hold him. But it got hard, and it got hard this is an own personal thing. It got hard for me to watch. Because I just don't like seeing people struggle. Honestly, like, politics aside, the Joe Biden press conferences got hard for me to watch because he was just struggling, and it made me sad. Like, I don't like to see people struggle like that. I watched it in my own family as people aged, and it just gets uncomfortable. And so I do think it's time. Probably, arguably past time. But I do like that he's getting this send-off, and it will be sweet. I'm sure people will shed tears. And not just on that set, but all around the country. Like, this guy has been in our living rooms forever.
No doubt.
And by all accounts, is just a sweetheart of a man, which is probably why he's been kept around as long as he has, because people just love him. Genuinely, people love this guy. And it was just sweet seeing him get that round of applause from just many strangers in the airport. And this is going to be a special weekend for him and his family. And so I'm not somebody who wakes up every Saturday and turns on College Game Day. Like, I'm usually doing other things. But I will try to turn that on. I like that he's going to be celebrated in that way and that he's getting this proper send-off. So Week 1 college football, it is here. Big Saturday on tap. Texas, Ohio State, big game. But Lee Corso's send-off, also a story worthy of the headlines it's getting.
What's today's biggest game?
All right, Big Bet Bennett, before we get to the game, after last night, when you decided to abandon our American Athletic Conference brother, USF, and instead ride with Boise State to your own detriment, 34-7 beatdown. After last night's game, your record drops to 253, 228-4 since the Gary Parrish Show launched at Grind City Media. Now, there are days when I'm here without you. There are days when you're here without me. Those days, we don't make picks.
Right.
But on days we're both here, we make picks every day. Right now, your record is 253, 228-4. And your balance is 0.0. You have made 485 wagers publicly on this show since we've been sitting in this studio. And you are 0.0 units, exactly even. You picked 25 more winners than losers, but because of the juice, you are exactly even.
Okay.
Are you proud of that or disappointed in that?
Well, I was in such a bad spot.
I'm kind of proud of it.
A couple months back that I'm glad that I worked my way out of it, but it's still not acceptable.
You know what? I would argue it is acceptable, because here's what I would argue. You've gotten to make bets 5 days a week, broadly speaking, for years, and it hadn't cost you a penny.
That's true. That's true.
I'd
We'll
take
see
that.
today.
I'd take that in my own personal life.
We're about to find out.
I would take that in my own personal life.
Yep.
I think if you could gamble consistently and never actually lose, not trying to win. If you can gamble consistently, get the rush that you need, what
and
you're
not
chasing,
lose.
and not lose, that's a hell of an experience. I would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too.
Hey, but that is your life right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, tonight, Auburn at Baylor.
Okay.
McLean Stadium, Waco, Texas. Chris Vanini said he's driving down tonight. 7 o'clock, it's on Fox. Auburn is a 2.5-point favorite on the road under Hugh Freeze, occupier of a hot seat. He occupies a hot seat. They say he plays golf too much. That's what they said on the message boards.
Man, this feels... This feels...
Do you believe in Hugh Freeze or not? That's what I'm trying to find out.
It feels like a trap.
Do you believe in Hugh Freeze or not? It's Auburn minus 1.5. The total's 57.5. Who do you believe in?
Give me Baylor. Give me Baylor.
You won't ride with USF on a Thursday and won't ride with Hugh Freeze on a Friday.
Give me Baylor.
You trying to get Hugh Freeze to that golf course sooner rather than later.
I don't know a lot about Baylor's current roster. I know that they won 6 in a row to finish the season last year before getting blasted by LSU in the bowl game. They didn't get blasted, I guess, on New Year's Eve. They hung in there for a little bit. I don't know about their team this year, but maybe I'll just ride their momentum from last season. Hopefully they brought back some guys.
Bennett is hoping that Baylor brought back some guys. He will take the Bears plus 1.5 at
Feels
home
like a trap
against Auburn. You don't believe in Hugh Freeze?
Doesn't it feel like a trap?
It doesn't feel that way to me.
It doesn't? No funny business.
I don't feel like this is funny business. I feel like this is either you believe in Hugh Freeze or you don't. You got to decide. Do you want Hugh Freeze to play golf or do you want him to coach a football team?
It's just kind of screaming like to take Baylor. You know, Hugh Freeze is on the hot seat and we're at Baylor. It's kind of screaming to take Baylor with Auburn being favored here.
If you don't believe in Hugh Freeze, just say that out loud.
I'll take the Bears.
Bennett says he's taking Baylor plus the 1.5. Kickoff 7 o'clock tonight. It's Auburn and Baylor from Waco. It's on Fox.
What are we watching on TV?
I guess we're watching SmackDown on USA Network. It's the final SmackDown before Sunday's Clash in Paris. Are you ready to clash in Paris?
Yeah, I'll clash. That's fine.
I'm ready to clash.
Yeah, I'll clash.
I'm ready to clash. Sunday, not Saturday. It's a premium live event on a Sunday.
Because we got to get out of, although I think we're going to have college football all weekend. I think we'll have games on Sunday too.
Yeah, I read about this because I assumed, well, maybe it's the first big week of college football. They're in Paris, so you got a time zone situation. If you're going to put it at nighttime in Paris, it's got to be daytime in the United States.
Yeah.
And Sunday afternoon, no, at least not as much college football.
Right.
Perhaps that's why they moved it to Sunday afternoon. And I can't find any evidence that that's actually true. People speculate on it, but it's not like anybody at WWE has said we were trying to get out of the way of week 1 of college football, that first big Saturday. It seems to come down to Sunday is just a better television window. The Sunday afternoon window is a better television window than Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
It's that simple.
Great.
And so they go with Sunday, but it does also get you away from some of the biggest college football games of the weekend because there are thousands of people. Like, I don't even think this is an exaggeration. There are thousands of people, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, who would watch this on Saturday if it were on Saturday, but instead will be inside of a football stadium somewhere.
I think that's true.
Yeah. So this at least helps with that, but it doesn't seem to be the primary motivation. What is interesting, though, is it was announced last night that on September 15th, 22nd, and 29th, they're going to move the Raw start time to 6 o'clock Central. It normally starts at 7 o'clock Central on Monday. They're going to move it to 6 o'clock Central just to experiment to see with what the numbers look like, trying to not go as directly head-to-head with Monday Night Football.
Interesting.
Now, there are some Monday night games that are going to start as early as like 6:15 when we get those multiple Monday night games. But a normal single Monday night game is typically going to start at 7:15 Central. So if you start Raw at 6 o'clock Central, you can get about half the show done before football even starts, right? So they just want to see, like, do we benefit at all from going an hour earlier? And maybe if they don't see that, they could say, okay, should we go 2 hours earlier? Like, do we just want to get away from football? I think it's less important now, perhaps, because everybody's got lots of people have multiple screens. But they are quite literally changing the start time of Raw, at least temporarily, to get away from Monday Night Football. So that was your wrestling headline from last night. In Paris, we're going to get Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk in a fatal four-way. You like a fatal four-way?
No.
I don't either.
I do not.
I don't like.
All.
I don't
It's
care
such
about
a cop-out. I
It's
hate
a cop-out.
It. Yeah, it's
I
a
don't
cop-out.
I don't like a fatal four-way.
Yeah.
I don't need it. John Cena against Logan Paul. Roman Reigns against Bronson Reed. Becky Lynch against Nikki Bella. I'll clash in Paris.
Yeah, I'll clash. I'm not excited about it, though. This is just this is like a house show that they're turning into a premium live event.
You get up on Sunday.
Yeah.
If you want to play golf, you play golf. If you want to go to church, you go to church. If you want to sleep in, you sleep in. I'm not here to make your Sunday morning plans for you. But then eventually, it's time to clash in Paris.
I'll clash.
I'm going to clash.
What time again?
Clash in Paris will start, I believe, 1 o'clock Central on Sunday.
Okay, good.
So get up, have a nice morning, and then it's time to clash in Paris.
Sounds good.
I'm ready to clash.
What's the best thing we've read?
Over at CBSSports.com, Chris Hummer has a story about Texas Longhorns legendary quarterback Colt McCoy. His thoughts on Arch Manning. So you want to see what one former UT quarterback thinks about the current UT quarterback. You can read that. It's on the homepage right now, CBSSports.com.
What's going on this weekend?
Well, obviously, tons of compelling football on tap. The big game, Texas at Ohio State with Arch Manning playing quarterback as the Heisman Trophy favorite here locally. Chattanooga at Memphis tomorrow afternoon out at Simmons Bank. Big Bet Bennett and his two little psychos are going to be out there.
Yes, we will.
I'm going to have my psychos out there. So if you're out at Simmons Bank, hopefully we'll see you. If we do, please say hello. I'm looking forward to it.
Too.
Should be a fun holiday weekend. Then we'll pop in here, not on Monday. Happy Labor Day. We'll pop in here on Tuesday and we'll look back at all of it.
Cool.
Everybody have a fun and safe weekend. I'll try to do the same. We're going to meet back here Tuesday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.